So today I can solve equations with variables on both sides and round my answer to the specific decimal. I've got a warm up on the screen on your page. Discuss with your team or your partner and be ready to share. I want you to write an equation that says that the length of the top line, the green one up here, is equal to the length of the bottom line. Combine like terms. So again, this green segment equals this segment. See how they line up perfectly? They have the same distance. So I want you to turn and talk with your partner. How could you write an equation with an equal sign to make these equal? How could you take this visual representation and make an equation? Turn and talk. Go with your partner. Turn and talk. Let's just finish solving this now. You would subtract 3 from both sides. You get 15 equals 3h. Therefore, h equals 5. Cool? Questions? Again, we're going to work on solving equations. Here's some more steps. This time it's for solving multi-step equations. So again, this might look familiar to yesterday, but we're adding more steps as we go. Okay, we're trying to break this down. So let's start filling in the blank. Use the blank to remove parentheses on each side of the equation. What's that? Use what? We talked about it yesterday. Distributive property. Let's write it in. Distributive property. Again, I know some of this is repetitive, but we're adding on as we go every day. Simplify each side of the equation individually by combining like terms. This is where it changes, okay? When we have variables on both sides of the equal sign, we need to get variables where? If I got them on both sides, what do we have to do, Shaylee?
Can I see the next one, please?
Go. We need to get variables on one side of the equation, okay? We're going to undo, again, any addition, subtraction. But the key difference here than yesterday is we're going to have variables on both sides of the equal sign. We got to get them together. We're going to undo any multiplication or division again. Let's give it a try. Number 1, I've got variables on both sides. So the first thing I need to do is get them together on one side. What do you want to do? There's a couple different ways to get this started. Caden, tell us the first step, sir.
Subtract 3x from 12 plus 3x.
Okay.
And do it on the same side.
Great. We're going to do that on both sides. We're left with 4x minus 8 equals 12. Quinn, what's next?
Add 8 on both sides.
12 and 8 is going to be 20. So we've combined, we've gotten our x's to one side, we're dealing with the addition and subtraction. Now we're down to the multiplication or division. We've got 4x, so how do we undo that? Divide by 4 on both sides. Great. X equals 5. All right, let's look at number 2. Oh no, number 2 has a decimal. Do you see that? 0.5. Oh no. So we need to combine our variables. What should we do first? Who's got an idea? What should we do first?
Subtract
0.5. Yeah, let's subtract 0.5y from both sides. 2 minus 0.5.
Good morning, staff and students. It is
1.5y. We are still left with negative 15 on that side. We have 1.5y minus 5. Oh man, decimals. Now what should we do? Add 5 to both sides. Negative 10 equals 1.5y. You might want a calculator for this step. Now I gotta divide both sides by 1.5. We're gonna divide both sides by 1.5. Oh man. Negative 6 point, and I got 0.666 repeating. And let's round to the nearest hundredth. Yes, so negative 6.67. This decimal place is the nearest hundredth, okay? Since it's repeating forever, I'm going to round up. Are we good with that? This is what y equals. All right, I want you to try 3 and 4 with your partner right now. You're going to try 3 and 4 with your partner. Ready, set, go. Discuss. Go. We panic a little bit for number 3? No, never. You should have started by adding b to both sides. Get those variables together. So then I've got 2b. Then you should have added 12 to both sides, but a negative 12 and a positive 12 cancel out, and we get 0 equals 2b. And then some of you looked a little scared from there. You can divide 0 by a number. Anytime you divide 0 by a number, it's just 0. So divide both sides by 2. Therefore, b equals 0. And that's possible for our answer. That works. Give me a thumbs up if you got b equals 0. Great. Great. Number 4. Number 4, we've got a lot going on. We should combine like terms on the right side first. So we're going to simplify this. I've got negative 1 plus 9n. I've got 5n, a minus 2n. We should be left with positive 3n. Positive 3n. Got to combine like terms first. Then I'm going to subtract 3n from both sides. We good with that? I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 6n equals 18. Divide both sides by 6. N equals 3. Give me a thumbs up if you got n equals 3. Got all our work shown. Great. Let's flip the page, and we're going to do our favorite thing in the world, fractions. I'm being sarcastic. I know we're not a fan. It's okay. It's okay. We'll talk through fractions now. We'll talk through it. All right. I just want you to think about this right now with your partner. What if you have fractions on both sides of your equation? Discuss with your partner and be ready to share. So be careful. Where are the fractions? The sum of them of x's. Talk to your partner. How are we going to deal with this? Go. You're just discussing. Be ready to share. What are some ideas? How can we get rid of these fractions? What could we do? Ideas. Let's hear your ideas. There's more than one way to deal with fractions. What do you think, Tristan? Get a common denominator. Let's refocus. Common denominator. That's something we hear with fractions. What were you going to say, Jade? You were going to say cross multiply. I'm just writing down our ideas. What else? What other ideas we got? Idea? What do you think? Combining them. We can combine them, add them together. I want you to notice that this is just 1/2. There's no variable. This is 2/3, and that has a variable. So I would have to minus 2/3 x from both sides. And then I'm taking a whole number and minusing a fraction. Is there another way we could deal with this? I call it fraction busters. I don't know. I'm going to times this by 6, because 2 and 3 both go into 6. Has anyone ever heard of a fraction buster?
Like Ghostbusters, but with fractions?
Yeah, like Ghostbusters, but with fractions. I call it a fraction buster. Basically, it eliminates the fraction part and converts it into whole numbers. So watch. I'm going to multiply everything by 6. So what's 3x times 6? 18x. What's 6 times 1/2? 3. Oh, great. That fraction has disappeared. Now we have to get a little tricky. What is 2/3 times 6? If you multiply straight across, you get 12 over 3. 4. You're right. It's 4x. I know I did some magic things with fractions here. And then 6 times 4 would be 24. Okay? I like to call these fraction busters. We just busted the fraction. And now, this is example 5. I want you to finish solving with your partner. Now I can solve it. It's all good. I've got whole numbers now. Let's finish it. Hopefully you're taking notes. To example 5. And then I want you to try number 6 with your partner. How are you going to bust those fractions? Ready, set, go. Discuss with your partner. Buster they used for number 6. What fraction buster? 8. We're going to times this whole thing by 8 and get rid of those fractions. I have to multiply fractions. You can use your calculator. You should get 2x. When you multiply 3/8 by 8, those 8 should cancel and you should be left with 3x. Don't forget to multiply your 5 by 8. That is my new equation. Did you get something similar? We're doing okay? I'm going to minus 3x from both sides. I get a negative x equals a negative 40. So therefore, what's my answer? X equals 40. Questions about this? You will have a problem on your first unit test where there's fractions in the equation. Okay? You will have that. Questions? Questions? Let's look at number 7 together. Number 7. In geometry, because that's what we're in geometry, we're just reviewing some algebra. When two lines cross each other, their opposite angles are congruent. Another word for equal. Use this fact to determine the value of x in the figure below. Can anyone tell me, is there an equation we could set up? What equation could I start with? Logan.
Set those equal to each other.
Yeah, so I'm going to say 6x plus 3 equals negative x plus 21. So in geometry, we're going to explore angle relationships. This is an angle relationship where they're congruent. And then sometimes we might come down to algebra. Okay, so you might see an example of this as we go this school year. Go ahead and solve that with your partner right now. And we'll check back in. Solve it. Places. Are you ready? Place values. Because we're going to ask you to round. You're adding this to the bottom of your page. We're going to ask you to round in case you need a reminder. These are your place values. So if I said I have this number 87.654. The 8 is our tens place. The 7 is our ones place. Then we have our decimal. On the other side of the decimal, the 6 would be our tenths. The hundredths would be the 5. And if we ask you, I don't think we ask you that often, but good to know, that 4 would be the thousandths place. Cool? Place values, just in case you forgot. Questions about our lesson for today? So on our agenda, the homework's 1 through 9. 1 through 9.